So the measure of angle 2, remember guys, it's going to be helpful if you extend your lines. Whoops. If you extend your lines this way. Now, GH, GI, or GI, yeah, GI. So now, what is the intercepted arc of this angle HGJ, or HGI? It's right here, which is what? I and H. So it's going to be arc of IJ. But is it just going to be arc of IJ? No, it's going to be, this is going to be double of this too. So you can either say that the measure of G is half of IH, or you can say that IH is double of angle G. So let's see how they want it. Half of measure IH, which is what we just have here. Okay? So what about this one? Use the diagram at the right to find the measure of angle 4. Well, this is the measure of angle 4. All of this, all of that is a measure of angle 4. So if I extend angle 4, it's going to go from here. And it's going to go... Oh, wow. No, it's actually going to encompass from here and here, which we already learned that there is no difference from it going through the circle and outside of the circle. So it's going to be all of this. It's going to be Q, S, all the way to R. So the measure of angle 4 is equal to half of arc Q, S, R. Or RSQ, whichever one, I don't know how they want to write it. Measure of QSR, yeah. So measure of angle 4 is equal to half of the measure of QSR. And I think here they had measure as well. Yeah, measure. Okay? Okay, this should not be difficult, right? Because what is the value of A? Well, I know that the intercepted arc, this is the intercepted arc, is double the inscribed angle, right? Or I can say this inscribed angle is half of this intercepted arc. So if this is 64, this has to be 64 times 2, which is 128. Okay? Now let's look at this one. All right, this one's a little bit more complicated, right? Because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I think the easiest one to look at is your B. Because I guess we can just look at A. Let's do one order. All right. So my A, this is my angle A. So this is where I extend my angle. And over here, so what's my intercepted arc? It's 125. So what is half of 125? Well, this is 6 minus 12, 5, 2, minus 4, 1. So 62.5. So A is 62.5, so A is 62.5. My B is going to be half of its intercepted arc. So let's see. So my B starts here and it goes here and it goes onto there. And what is this? This is a semicircle, right? Because this is the diameter. So what is half of this 180? 90. So B is equal to 90. Now C, what is the angle that represents C? Well, C, this is the intercepted arc of C, and what's its angle? Right here. Because look, if we take this angle and we extend it, this is the intercepted arc of this inscribed angle. So I just had to find this angle, and if I find this angle, I just multiply by 2 and I'll get my C. Well, I know my A was 62.5 because of this, and my B was 90. So it's just 90, or 180 minus 90 minus 62.5. So I know 180 minus 90 is 90, so I'm going to do 90 minus 62.5. It's going to be annoying. This is going to turn to a 9, right? It's going to turn to an 8. It's 0.5, 7, 2. It should be 27.5. Oh yeah, it is 27.5. The measure of angle C is 27.5, so the intercepted arc is 27.5 times 2. Times 2. So this is, 27 times 2 is 54. And then this, so it's going to be plus 1, so the answer is 55. So my A was 62.5, my B was 90, and my C was, 55. Obviously, guys, if all these little writings confuse you, I'm just doing it without a calculator because I don't have one right now. So obviously, you can just pause this or you could just use your calculator. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, so find the value of each variable for the circle. Okay, find the value of each variable. Well, I know this is an inscribed what? This is an inscribed quadrilateral. And inside inscribed quadrilaterals have opposite angles that are supplementary. So D, I could find D pretty easily. What's 180 minus 125? That is 55, right? 55. And C would be 82, correct? 82. So now, in order to find, let's find A first. A is this arc right here. A is this arc. So what angle represents that arc? Well, I can think of a few, but I'm gonna lock into this one. Because look, if I extend it over there and extend it over here, I know that this entire arc has to equal what? It's double of the inscribed angle. So this entire arc is double of this. What's 125 times 2? It's 250, right? So if this whole thing is 250, this entire thing is 250, I can find my A by subtracting this 95. So minus, 95. 5. So 155. So my A is 155 degrees. Now, what about my B? Okay, well, my B, let's do purple. In order to find my arc B, I can use this angle right here, this inscribed angle, right? Because look, I'm gonna go extend here, boom, and extend here. And isn't this just one giant part of my arc right there? So now, I know that B is a part of this inscribed angle. And I already know what this entire thing should be, because what is 82 times 2? Well, I know that this entire intercepted arc has to be 164. So in order to find B, I just need to subtract 155 from 164. So my angle is what, 9, right? Is that right? 164, 5, yep, 9. So now my A is 155. Is it 155? My B is 9. My C is 182. And my D is 55. Awesome. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, once again, the measure of angle 3 is going to be here, all of this. So that means this is the arc. That's one of the rays of my arc, and this one's the other one. So it's just taking into account this entire intercepted arc. So if this entire intercepted arc is 210, the inscribed angle number 3 has to be half of that. So what's half of 210? It's 105. 105. Cool. Whoops. Okay. So find the measure of BC for this circle. So BC is here. Okay. Well, if this is 60, isn't this just 120? Yeah, wow, that was easy. I felt like it was too easy. Okay, well, I guess this was just here to trick you, so don't let it trick you, because the only thing I care about this intercepted arc is its inscribed angle, which is this guy. Okay. Find the measure of C. So I want to find C. Well, wait, if this is C, isn't this just the inscribed angle right here? So it should just be half of 76, which is what, 2, 3, 6, 38. Is it 38? Wow, yeah, 38. There you go. Okay, so these two were pretty easy. Okay, cool. So now this one's a little bit more complicated because we want to prove that A is equal to D. Well, you and I should already know that A is equal to D. Why? Because if I were to extend this angle A over here, right? If I were to extend the inscribed angle A, what will be the intercepted arc? This whole BC. Now, what if I did the same thing with this D? Wouldn't it be the same intercepted arc? So I know that A and B are congruent because, we know that. So let's see how they want us to do it. So they give us our given. This little box means M. So they gave us all this. So this is what's given. Now what do I know? Well, if I use the inscribed angle theorem, the inscribed angle theorem tells me that, hey, this is half of BC. So it would be measure of angle A is equal to half of the measure of arc BC. BC. And what would the other one be? This inscribed angle is half of the measure of BC as well. So let's see if that's what they gave us. Yep, look, same thing. Measure of angle A is half of BC. Should be half of BC, and D is half of BC. So that's how you got to answer these problems. Now, remember, guys, in your EOC and stuff, they'll always give you either a reason or they'll give you a statement. So obviously, I just have the answers here because I don't want to have to type all this stuff. So once you see that they ask you for the inscribed angle theorem, you have to use what you know about inscribed angles. What do you know about inscribed angles? That they are half of the intercepted arc. Whoops. So that's all you had to put onto here. Now, substitution property. What did we substitute? Well, we substituted if measure of angle A equals half of BC and measure of angle D equals half of BC, well then doesn't A just equal D as well? Yep, and now the definition of congruent angles are two angles that have the same measure. Okay, so that's how you answer that question. That's how you answer a lot of two-column proofs. We're gonna go over two-column proofs a lot in the fourth quarter, but this is I just wanted to